Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
You know, when we were planning tonight's service, I don't think we knew how relevant it would be to have a song about light in the darkness and warmth in the storm, but it was a perfect choice. So Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome. So pleased that you're with us tonight to welcome Shabbat with song and with prayer, and most importantly, with each other. This weekend, we're also welcoming a new adult into our congregation. Mayara Khan becomes bat mitzvah this weekend, and so it is a great joy for me to invite her and her mother to the bima to light tonight's Shabbat candles. As they make their way to the bima, I'll invite all of y'all to turn in your books to page 2, where you'll find the words of the blessing, and page 3, where you'll find the meditation before candle lighting.
Let us light these lights and
mic.
see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Let us light these lights and see the way to you, and let us say Amen. Sorry. You
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Go ahead and light the candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel
Seats. Okay.
We welcome the Shabbat bride with the words of Lecha Dodi, this sacred time coming in just at the right time. Lecha Dodi can be found on page 20. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, Penei Shabbat. Likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibur echad, v'yishmi'anu el hamilchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, v'shemo tiferet v'litila. Likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor habracha. מקדם הניצוחה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. lecha Dodi, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Hitoreri, ki ba'orech u'mi'ori, uri shirta be'iri, kivod Adonai alai chila. Lecha Dodi, likrat kala, and face the entrance as we welcome in Shabbat like a bride. Boi v'shalom aderet barav, gam b'simcha uv'tzola, toch emunei ham-segula. Boi chala, lecha dodi, v'ikras kala, b'nei Shabbat v'kavila. Lecha dodi, v'ikras kala, b'nei Shabbat v'kavila.
We remain standing now and take just a moment to wish a Shabbat Shalom to someone standing nearby.
Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom. We join together on page 28 with Baruchu. Yai, lai, lai, yai, lai, lai, lai. 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 Yai, lai, 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 yai, lai, 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 yai. Yai, lai, 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 lai.
A poem by Mahmoud Darwish called Think of Others. As you prepare your breakfast, think of others. Do not forget the pigeon's food. As you conduct your wars, think of others. Do not forget those who seek peace. As you pay your water bill, think of others, those who are nursed by clouds. As you return home to your home, think of others. Do not forget the people of the camps. As you sleep and count the stars, think of others, those who have nowhere to sleep. As you liberate yourself in metaphor, think of others, those who have lost the right to speak. As you think of others far away, think of yourself. Say, if only I were a candle in the dark. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim.
Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We will know that you are one. Baruch atah Adonai,
seated, and I'll invite Mayara back up to the bima to lead us in Ve'ahavta. We're continuing in our books on page 36.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם. בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך אבישריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
First have to say that you all sound so beautiful tonight, and to be on this kind of cold, dark, stormy night and then just hear all your voices, I feel just my spirit warmed. So Hanukkah begins this Sunday evening with the first candle, and thinking about that, we start on this Shabbat leading up to Hanukkah to hear the sounds of the holiday in our Micha Mocha, kind of helping to warm us up and get us ready for the joy and the light that this time brings. Micha Mocha is on page 40.
Page 42. We're entering into a season of miracles when we light candles and tell stories to remember the great miracles that our ancestors enjoyed centuries and centuries ago. This prayer on page 42 expresses our hope and our gratitude for a different sort of modest miracle, one that we hope we can enjoy just about every day, the sense of shelter and peace, the sense of protection and safety that we enjoy in the embrace of God and the arms of our community. And so as we make our way into this prayer, into this Hashkivenu, we remember the experiences we've had of safety and security, of protection and shelter, with gratitude and thanksgiving.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Lishalom. Yifros aleinu sukat shlomecha. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu, l'chaim, l'chaim. May you shelter us in peace until the morning comes. May you lay us down with love, and may you raise us up. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu, l'chaim, l'chaim.
Our Amidah begins on page 46 and will continue on the even-numbered pages thereafter. I'll invite you to rise for prayer, page 46.
Adonai sifatai tiftachu fi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei avotenu v'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot ve'imahot, Umevi Geula Livnei B'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham v'Ezrat Sarah. Atah gibor leolam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah rav lehoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha bal gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lehachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, u'kedoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh.
You may be seated. Before we move into silent prayer, we'll continue with this reflection on miracles at the top of page 53. Days pass and the years vanish, and we walk sightless among miracles. God, fill our eyes with seeing and our minds with knowing. Let there be moments when your presence, like lightning, illumines the darkness in which we walk. Help us to see wherever we gaze that the bush burns unconsumed, and we, clay touched by God, will reach out for holiness and exclaim in wonder, "How filled with awe is this place, and we did not know it." We'll take a moment silently for our own individual prayer.
people Israel and all the peoples of the earth. Bechol edu bechol sha'a bishlomecha. Every season, every moment, shalom. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha, Nasim le'olam, Nasim le'olam, Nasim le'olam, Nasim le'olam.
We turn now from that prayer for shalom, peace, toward a prayer for shlemut, wholeness, on behalf of those in our community and in our congregation who are in need of healing and wholeness on this Shabbat. Tonight we offer our Mishaberach, our prayer for healing, on behalf of Mark Archuleta, Sarah Astridge, Christy Barr, Charlotte Berkowitz, Marcia Block, Tori Brooks, Melba Berman, Eileen Sersansky, Robert Cohn, Maya Creeder, Richard Dana, Barbara Fenton, Leon Finkelstein, Carol Friedman, Marcine S. Goldman, Kenny Goldstein, Leslie Grant, Don Graubart, Chuck Green, Joyce Haufrecht, Terry Hazelwood, Lauren Hill, Christina Howard, Cam Hunter, Sarah James, Vanessa Lagonier, Ashley Levine, Lawrence Levy, Betsy Lewis, Samuel Lewis, Janice Muscat, Magdalene Pessin, Philip Pessis, Hattie Reese, Anita Reiner, Neil Reisman, Arlene Richmond, Sydney Rogan, Bernard Rosenfeld, Lynn Schmulin, Edward Simmons, Leslie Simmons, Roy Smith, Inez Taylor, Albert Valdez, Mark Vasquez, Lenny Weinberger, Rachel Weingart, Cindy Weiss, Yvonne Zients, Ariela Sharon Bat Yafa Shoshana, Gelka Nachama Bat Libachaya, Shana Yosefet, Yishoshua Metetyahu Ben Yaakov Prevachana, Yosefa Zeisel Bat Herschel Zelig, and all of those who are suffering with afflictions of body, mind, or spirit.
Bishaberach Avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah uYivarech veYirapeh et hacholim.
Friends, a few calendar announcements to call to your attention this evening. A reminder that next Shabbat is our Hanukkah Shabbat, December 23rd. We hope you'll join us for services at 6, followed by a latke supper after services. Please remember, we want you to bring your Chanukiah, your Hanukkah menorah, and some candles for the menorah. Dinner that evening is $15 for adults, $10 for children. There will be lots of fun. It's going to be a great evening. Please come and join us. It is one of my favorite nights of the year, a great time to bring everybody together and enjoy the light and warmth of our community. Do you want to say a word about
I do. So I want to invite you to join me for this event, the Muslim Jewish Christmas. I think it's the 13th annual. It's held on Christmas Eve each year, bringing together Jews, Muslims, and individuals of many faiths for an afternoon of understanding, discussion, activities, some food. It's a collaboration of many different communities in Houston. It will be happening at the Islamic Society of Greater Houston on the 24th at 2 o'clock. If you want more information, it's on our website, or feel free to email me. I'd love to join together to go.
Beautiful. Thanks, Cantor. Another note for your calendar, on Wednesday, the 18th of January at 7:30, we are partnering with the JCC to host Heather Cabot, who is co-author of Level Up, as part of the J Book Festival Authors in Conversation series. The book, which was written in collaboration with Stacey Abramson and Lara Hodgson, is a must-read guide for small business owners navigating a critical turning point when you either level up or give up. See our calendar for more details. That's the 18th at 7:30. Lastly, if you are here as part of this evening's Young Professionals event, dinner and cocktail class, that will be after services. The Young Professionals group will be meeting in Feld Hall after the conclusion of services. And l'chaim. All of these holiday events and holiday announcements remind us at this time of year, as the days of December creep along, getting darker as they go, we're reminded of the way that Americans of many faiths use this time of year to make special holiday preparations for their families. Gifts are being bought and wrapped in shiny paper. Special family recipes are being prepared. Greeting cards are crisscrossing the continent, sharing good tidings and annual updates about children and pets and a year's worth of memorable accomplishments. Fortunately, it is more than just a cliche for us to describe this time of year as the season of giving, because every year statistics bear this out. In December, this month far outpaces all other months of the year as the time when Americans are making charitable donations. Nonprofit organizations of all kinds, including, let me not fail to mention, your synagogue, rely on people's generosity at the end of the calendar year to push their annual budgets into the black during the time when people are, we hope, filled to the brim with the milk of human kindness and the generous exercise of love and goodwill. Americans are demonstrably more generous this time of year. So nonprofit organizations and human welfare agencies do their best to encourage the spirit of giving during these days. I'm sure it's not just my house that has seen solicitation envelopes arriving in the mail with increased frequency, collection buckets popping up at storefronts and on street corners, and just about every trip through the checkout line at the grocery or drugstore now includes a modest invitation at the point of sale terminal to round up your change for charity. It's this particular transaction that I want to spend a moment talking about tonight, because we've all, I'm sure, seen these requests on that credit card keypad. Let's say that the total of your purchase at the grocery store comes to $26.83. Let's just imagine that you can get out of the grocery store only spending $26. And the electronic screen invites you to consider rounding up your purchase to the nearest dollar and donating that extra 17 cents to charity. It's easy, it's painless, and if we agree to make that donation, we feel pretty good about ourselves. Who, after all, wouldn't want to experience the sensation of virtuous generosity for the low, low price of 17 cents? There's a video about this form of point-of-sale charity that went viral some time ago, and I have not been able to stop thinking about it since I saw it. The creator of the video, which you can find on your social media platform of choice, wants to convince people to stop making those donations to checkout line charities. And his reasoning is that the retailer, whether it's Walgreens or H-E-B or Petco, is using your change to fund their own corporate giving and thereby expand their own tax advantages at your expense. According to the video, the solicitation is basically a trick to mislead consumers into using their money to unwittingly leverage benefit to these large corporations. And so the right thing to do is to decline the solicitation at the keypad in order to keep the company from, these are the video's words, to keep the company from using your donation to fund their tax deduction. People have really resonated with this video. More than 500,000 people have liked it on social media. It's been shared more than 30,000 times just on one of the platforms it was posted to. Unfortunately, the claims that the video makes are completely false. And before I say more, at the advice of counsel, let me make the very important disclaimer that what I'm about to share with you does not constitute professional tax advice. Please talk to someone smarter than me when it comes to your taxes and your finances. But the reason that it's false is because when the grocery store collects your 17 cents, it's not including that money in its business receipts or expenses. And assuming that that company is acting in accordance with federal tax law, they're just bundling your 17 cents with everybody else's that they collect and passing it along to their designated charity with no effect whatsoever on the taxes they pay to the government. Instead, and once again, I must plead with you to talk to a professional about this, not me, not only should you give that money at the checkout, but you should also keep track of that donation so that you can realize the benefit on the generous gift of your 17 cents. Now, of course, the point of giving charity isn't to do so because of the tax benefit it accrues to us, but because it's the morally and ethically right thing to do, and because we're guided by our foundational texts and centuries of religious ethical guidance to be generous and open-hearted to those who are in need. I do think, as a side point, that we are lucky to live in a time and place when government policy makes it advantageous for us to be generous. But the fundamental reason that we give tzedakah, and here I can confidently give you authoritative professional advice as your rabbi, is that the practice of charitable giving is an act of world repair. It's an act of powerful tikkun olam that materially benefits the recipient, spiritually benefits the donor, and cosmically moves the universe's broken fragments back into alignment. That's why we give tzedakah. Now, this ends the tax seminar portion of our sermon tonight. But as I said, I've been thinking about that stupid TikTok video for a really long time because I think there's something else about it that is problematic and spiritually corrosive to us as a spiritual and ethical community. Even aside from the fact that the misinformation could discourage people from contributing to the massive amount of charity collected at retail points of sale across the country, which is now approaching $1 billion annually. The problem is that it promotes the idea that charity is a transaction like any other, and that participants in that transaction are liable to be taken advantage of by an untrustworthy partner on the other side of the counter. And so the best thing that we can do is to be as skeptical as we can be about their motives in order so that we can avoid getting fleeced. Now, I get it, I understand, and I agree that no one ever wants to be thought of as a sucker, and I would hate for anyone to lose money because they were duped or misled. But what makes me so sad about the video is that it encourages us to enter into a frame of mind in which we are as wary about giving away our few pennies of change as we would be about making a major household purchase. I think that approaching the practice of tzedakah with that mindset, accompanied by that sort of cynical hesitation, is deeply corrosive to our souls. The Haftorah portion that we read this week comes from a book of the Bible that we don't read very often during the year. It comes from the words of the prophet Amos, and it expresses God's impatience and resentment for those who respond to society's need for charitable giving with selfishness and materialism, with the kind of transactional mindset that viral video implicitly promotes. I will not revoke punishment, God says in the books of the prophet, for those who have sold the poor for silver and have abandoned the needy for the price of a pair of sandals. We read this portion this week because it's thematically linked to the Torah portion, which contains a story of Joseph's brothers selling him into slavery for a few pieces of silver. It's a horrible detail of the Torah story, included to impress upon us the brutishness of the brothers' personalities and the depths of their disregard for Joseph's well-being. But what the prophet is criticizing is not simply cruelty or abusiveness. Instead, what Amos is worried about is the danger that there are people whose lives are filled with material and financial transaction every day, people like us, I might add, who may therefore be drawn to conclude that human dignity is a saleable commodity. His critique is pointed at those who connect our own, material well-being with the servitude and suffering of others. But he's not just talking about people who profit literally and proximally from the suffering and servitude of others, slave traders, or sweatshop owners, or human traffickers. He's talking about people like us, who, especially in today's world of online misinformation and conspiracy theories and outright lies, can be easily drawn into dismissing the suffering of those who are needy. Sometimes it feels very hard today to know who's really in need, to localize where the crisis and suffering really is acute, and where we're simply being misled or manipulated by slick marketing. Sometimes we're so worried about being taken advantage of that we opt instead to suppress the charitable impulse and use our resources only to benefit ourselves instead. Amos wrote his words 2,700 years ago, but he was exactly right. Sometimes we too could be easily persuaded to disregard the poor so we can buy ourselves a new pair of shoes instead. What was so troubling to me about that viral misinformation video about giving charity in the checkout line is that in the name of raising awareness, it instead raises doubts in our minds about whether the charity industry, if not the poor themselves, are defrauding us of wealth that should remain ours. Is there fraud committed in charitable organizations? No doubt there is. Is there deception and duplicity? Of course. Do charities and NGOs require scrutiny and oversight? Obviously, yes. No one should get a pass from the strictures of ethical decision-making or the high standards of business regulation just because their work does good in the world. But if we view the practice of giving charity primarily through a lens of wariness or skepticism, we're not upholding high standards of ethical rigor. Instead, what we are doing is hardening our own hearts, contributing to the atrophy of the charitable instinct. Listen, I want you to be thoughtful about how you give tzedakah. I want you to be open-hearted with your giving, and I want you to make sound, rational decisions about it. But what I don't want you to do is to allow the critical impulse to overpower the generous one. Especially in a case like the one I've been describing, when we're invited to make a small donation to charity as part of a larger retail purchase to benefit ourselves and our families. Because even if I'm wrong, even if those grocery stores are misallocating our funds, even if there is a grand fraudulent conspiracy aimed at separating us from our change at the checkout, even in this case, I promise, the harm done to us from losing those few coins is incalculably, insignificantly, vanishingly tiny compared to the damage done to our souls and our deep, timeless Jewish ethical code if we refuse to give, because we've learned to respond to requests for charity with suspicion rather than beneficence. I want to be clear again that I am not offering you professional financial advice tonight of any kind, but instead, professional spiritual guidance. And so from that perspective, my advice and my request to you tonight is this. Think about the prophet Amos the next time you're in the checkout line. Remember his hope and his warning. Do not disregard the needs of the poor and the welfare of those in need. And round up your total at the cash register and soulfully, joyfully, Jewishly offer your 17 cents or your 26 cents or your 84 cents or whatever it is to help those who need it more than you do. And beyond those few pennies, if you're able to and haven't already, I hope you will join the millions of other Americans who make a loving ritual out of end-of-year giving. These dark days of December usher in a season of giving for so many of us here in Houston and beyond. And all of us, regardless of our religious tradition or expression, can use our impulse toward love and concern and empathy to broaden our city's ability to help those who are helpless and to heal that which is broken. And when we do, friends, we will make this a season of warmth and light for all. Shabbat Shalom and an early Happy Hanukkah. Friends, we'll make our way now back in our prayer books on the bottom half of page 282 for the words of Aleinu L'Shabeach. Would you please rise as the ark is opened? Page 282.
Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Ateit Gedula Liotzer Breshit, Shelo Asanu Kegoye Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpechot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, Vegor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Vanachnu Korim, Umishtachavim Umodim, Lifnei Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 287. V'nemar, v'haya Adonai, lemelech ala kol haaretz, bayom ha'hu, yeh Adonai echad, u'shemu echad.
As we make our way towards the halls of memory and the words of Kaddish, our thoughts now turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we remember them, we meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We take a quiet moment now to do the sacred work of memory. We think now of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts with our own. On this Shabbat, our hearts go out in sadness and sympathy to the families of Marvin Aronowitz, Alan Becker, Samuel Mazzella, Linda Ellen Silverstein, Lester Slobin, Stephen Smith, and Rita Wilkenfeld, laid to rest in recent days. To their names we add these, the names of those whose yahrzeits fall at this season. Together we remember Albert Alexander, Albert Beck, Lily Bierman Stallero, Cynthia Borden, Serena Brooks, Ruth Brown, Robert E. Byron, Margie Baldwin Carpenter, Joe Dante, Gerald I. Jumbo Davis, Gerald Jerry Epstein, Jacob Evans, Bruce Farkas, Ben Feenberg, Nason Mark Feldman, Louis Bennett Fenberg, Irene Byron Fine, Dorothy Fisher, Julius Fram, Charles J. Franklin, Samuel Goss, Florence F. Gates, Peppino Giovanella, Rosalind Goldberg, Edna S. Goldgen, Deborah Goldstein, Jay Goodman, Joe C. Goot, Elaine Ute Greenberg, Jean Gressick, Hilda F. Grossberg, Sarah Grossman, Marvin Hertz, Pauline Jacobs Horowitz, Donnie Jacobson, Oscar Janowski, Lorraine Joseph, Jenny Karen, David S. Kaufman, David Edward Kasdan, Norman Kleiman, Ruth Cobart, Howard Krantz, Julie Aronson Kronowitz, Elaine Kustoff, Melvin Lefkowitz, Barry E. Levine, Nathan Lewis Levy, Karen Lowitz, Kenneth S. Markowitz, Louis E. Mayer, Sylvan Mellinger, Bert Mintz, Jacob Mormon, Jerry Motley, Otto Nathan, Hyman Newar, Meyer Patent, Myra Perrin, Joe Pearl, Sylvia Daly Phillips, Sylvia Presser, Joel Reisman, Robert Richmond, Ellis Robbins, Michael Chaim Rosen, Ethel Rosenblatt, Francine Greenfield Rosenthal, Sheldon Rosenthal, Ruth F. Rubenstein, Philip Rubenstein, Aaron Saltzman, Irving Samuels, Sonia Schnoll, Goldie Schnorr, Marty Ann Schwartz, James Sendroff, Sarah Sherman, Sam J. Schneiderson, Leah Ray Stepanoff, Anna Stoner, Abe Tartak, Eva G. Totter, Elaine Tenenbaum, Elsie Tenenbaum, Thomas Turpey Jr., Sidney Wallace, Marvin S. Wallach, Jacob Weiss, Rose Flaxman Weiss, Sarah Elizabeth White, Bernice Wilkenfeld, Jesse Wilkenfeld, Madeline Liebman Wolf, Marcielle E. Wolf, Mindy Jo Wolochin, Bess D. Yellen, Yakov Zaretsky, and Irving Zlotnick. The memories of all the departed are with us as we turn in our books to page 294 and rise for the recitation of Kaddish, page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, ve'alma divrach cherutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'izman kari v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'elam ul'olmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitba'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei d'kudsha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, alenu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen.
Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
You may be seated as we make our way towards the last few blessings of our service. Mayara, I'd love to invite you back up to the bima with your brother and cousins to offer the prayers of the blessings of Kiddush and Motzi to give thanks for this Shabbat day and for the food that sustains us. I'll let you come up here. Hey guys, come on in. You guys can spread out over here too.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Around.
borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu b'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher litziat mitzrayim ki banu bacharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol ha'amim ve'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat l'chaim. Ready for the motzi?
Okay, do you guys want to come in? We're going to give you some bread.
It's okay. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
Thank you.
You can share that with your family.
Beautiful.
We conclude with this beautiful song we began with about the light returning, about banishing
You guys can
the
make your way
darkness
back
from
once you
our
grab your
midst.
please rise for our closing benediction. Our God and God of all generations before us, lead us to this season of light and miracles and redemption. Open our eyes to the miracles of the world all around us, and open our hearts to the possibilities that we may be the source of miracles for others, through our giving and through our love, through our nearness and through our faith, so that together with you we may do the sacred and vital work of repairing the world. Amen. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.